Hello, my friend. So here's another tidbit from one of my one-on-one clients, and I'm sharing these gems in an effort to help you to increase your self-trust and increase um your trust in yourself, in your ability to hear inspiration, and your trust in God, and the confidence that you can get where you want to be, that you can create the life that you desire. So this is a thing that sometimes happens with me, has happened with me a few different times. And that is when I get some inspiration and then I just go. So I'm going to draw it for you so that you can see. Um, I have had the experience, and maybe you have too, where you receive um, an inspired idea and it lights you up and you're just super, super excited about it. And it comes in, and then before it actually comes in and lands and starts to grow in you, you decide, you're like, oh, I got this. I understand this idea. We're going to build this. We're going to create this right now. And instead of bringing it in, I just take it and we go. And I start to build this goal. And um, it doesn't really, um, it ends up being small like this. It doesn't end up being big like it could be. It ends up being a small little goal. And the reason why is because I didn't allow it to come in to my heart and start to grow right here. When we have inspiration and we allow it to come in and we ask great follow-up questions, those follow-up questions and getting more information and more information and more information and letting it grow in here, then we can visualize this goal and then bring it inside of our zone, our creation zone. Instead of leaving it out there and just reaching for it and hoping for it, and we are bringing it back in. But the point here is that instead of bouncing out and saying, oh, I got this, I know what you mean by that, I'll take it from here. I am all about praying if everything depends on God and then working as if everything depends on me. I really am all about that. I know that Gordon B. Hinckley said that once. And when he said that, I'm like, oh, yes, I totally resonate with that. That totally makes sense to me. I that makes sense. And at the same time, sometimes I will move forward with very little information. And so sometimes there's more information to be had if we asked. God's not going to force us to take all the information. He doesn't yell and shout after us and say, wait, wait. Sometimes he does if it's a life-threatening situation and it's not our time to go, something like that. But he doesn't force our hand. He doesn't make us do anything. He gives us the opportunity to learn from our mistakes and failures and from the good successes that we have. And by the way, we learn more from our no's than our yeses, right? So, and I have done this so many times where I get a little bit of inspiration and I go, and I go out and I create something. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't really turning out the way I thought or it actually isn't really working. I thought it was going to work. I thought I was inspired. Why isn't it working if it was an inspired idea? Well, they say the fortune's in the follow-up. It's not just in following up with clients, it's following up with God too. That the more information we get, and sometimes he does, sometimes we'll ask for more information and the heavens will be silent. And when I receive that, I recognize, okay, he trusts me. He trusts me to make the decisions. He trusts me to make the decision here, and it's important for me to make the decision. And a lot of the time I will so that in that case, yes, I'll make the decision. And I have learned then more often than not, he has more information for me if I will ask and you shall receive. And a lot of us just forget to ask. We just think, oh, it's all on me. I'll figure it out. We'll go and do it. And he'll lead me along the way. And a lot of times he will lead us along the way. But how much greater would it be if we had more information? And yet sometimes we don't think to ask. So this is your reminder, is that this is kind of a mess. That when we're asking for inspiration, that and we receive some, then we ask more for, is there more that I can know about this? Is there and usually that's like one of my main go-to questions is there more I can know about this? Well, yes, there is. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so about this thing, thank you for that. So about this thing, is there more I can learn about that? Is there more information you can tell me about that? Because I'm not sure I understand that very much. Well, yeah, but you're not really ready to learn that. Or yes, and here it is. So it can be a very conversational experience with your higher power, with God. It is with me. I've got notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of conversations. And it's easier for me if I actually am writing, because then I'm getting outside my head. I'm actually understanding what I'm asking. And I write down what comes to my mind. It might not even like really register. I might not even interpret what he's saying yet. I just write it down. And then I go back and interpret it later, which is kind of an upper level thing. Maybe we'll talk more about that later. So I hope that this has given you something more to think about, and that it has maybe helped you to see when you have experienced this in your life. I've experienced it so many times. And I'm grateful for the experiences, because then I learn more what to do and what's available for me, for us. So I hope that this little video has been helpful. Take care. We'll see ya.